Over the years, especially recently, the blue marble that I grew up with has begun to show signs of serious failing health. As a voice for the oceans, it would be absolutely unacceptable for me not to address this human impact. And whether it be the debris at the bottom of the sea, or washed up on the beaches thousands of miles from anyone, or a void where life should be, I now witness the power of carelessness. From garbage patches, sometimes the size of Canada, the floating endless debris and seas of industrial fishing trawlers pillaging uncontrollably, freight abandoned, and the things we don't see that are going into our water systems are both suffocating and raping our one and only life support system. These are just a couple of examples of what plastic debris or floating debris in the oceans looks like. In the North Pacific gyre, which is what I just mentioned, there's an estimated 100 million tons of debris floating around. We don't know what's down at the bottom. Everything that's sunk, refrigerators, TVs, other heavier plastics, and so on. Why should we care? Well, these aren't human beings. These are animals. But this is what's going to happen to us as well, because if animals are dying, guess who's next? Over 1 million in the Pacific alone, annually. A small fraction of this debris breaks away, of course, from these gyres and ends up on our shores, where we actually take notice. A couple of years ago, we went to one of the most remote regions of the world that no one's ever been to. It's called an island called Kure. It's the last island on the northwest Hawaiian island chain. It's about 2,000 kilometers from the closest civilization on the main island of Hawaii. Within 10 minutes, this otherwise pristine beach gave up this many lighters that my father collected. Of course, we were cleaning some of the debris down at the bottom as well while trying to film the coral reefs. And here's another potential victim. This is a monk seal, which is a very, very rare seal, especially in the Pacific. And this is one of the last havens where there are only a few thousand left. And even there, thousands of kilometers away from anybody, that monk seal has to deal with debris. The average in some of these beaches is about 2 meters worth of garbage piled up. This is what the plastic debris looks like when it starts breaking up. It's called plastic nurdles. Plastic nurdles are much more harmful in the sense that they actually get absorbed into the environment. Have you ever seen, has anyone here ever gone to a tropical island, a beautiful island, and walked down the beach in a blissful sky and having a wonderful time, and scooped up some sand between your hands and noticed that between the grains of sand there's all sorts of really interesting colors? Most of that's this, more and more so. It's a huge problem, and most people don't know about it. This problem of water pollution as a whole is sneaking up on us in the most unsuspecting and fundamental and powerful ways, and we're not noticing. An op-ed written by Nicholas Kristof on June 28th of 2009 in the New York Times states, "A rise in deformalities is affecting amphibians and humans alike. Some of the first signs of potential health catastrophe came as a bizarre deformality in water animals, often in their sexual organs. Frogs, salamanders, and other amphibians began to sprout extra legs. In one of the largest lakes in Florida, male alligators developed stunted genitals. 80% of male smallmouth bass, the type of fish, in the Potomac are now producing eggs. Now scientists are connecting the dots with evidence of increasing abnormalities amongst humans. Chemicals called endocrine disruptors are widely used in agriculture, industry, and consumer products, and they are the cause. Say they're part of the cause. Some also enter the water supply when estrogen in human urine, compounded when a woman is on the pill, pass through the sewage system and through the water treatment plants. Endocrine disruptors have a complex effect on the human body, particularly during the fetal development. This month, the Endocrinology Society released a 50-page landmark document stating, "We present the evidence that endocrine disruptors have the effect on male and female reproduction, breast development and cancer, prostate cancer, neuroendocrinology, thyroid, metabolism, obesity, and cardiovascular endocrinology." It's a lot of big words, but we're in trouble. That is just one study done on developed countries. Imagine what the study would say on developing countries. How much more of this do we need before the public's had enough of this inaction that is poisoning not only the planet, but all of our children? Furthermore, how many will actually die of waterborne diseases, or even thirst, before we actually do something? One of the most recent expeditions we did was on orcas. You might ask, well, why are you talking to us about orcas? We're here talking about water and water issues. Well, they have a lot to do with what we're facing. These orcas, or killer whales as they're sometimes called, are our exact reflection in the oceans. Let me explain. There are only about 100,000 worldwide, and as you can tell from this map, we got a chance to go to New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, the waters of Norway, Pacific Northwest, and Alaska, and a few other places, where we were filming these orcas just trying to get a better sense and an updated information about who they are, what they are, and we realized during that time, during our natural history filming, that they're starting to have show signs of health problems in places where these animals are close to human contact. They're at the top of the food chain. They're hyper-intelligent, some would say more intelligent than humans. They're very organized, and they have a very intricate social structure. More importantly, they're a matriarch society. So every pod has a female leading the pack. They're, like I said, our exact mirror reflection in the oceans. And as we filmed these animals, we started seeing signs of human impact. We started taking blood samples from these animals, and what we found is that from DDTs and PCBs, which were banned back in the 1970s, to dioxins, flame retardants, pesticides, herbicides, and other toxic chemicals we commonly use today in our everyday lives, all are showing up in significant quantities in their blood. These toxic cocktails make their way from our drains, our lawns, our fields, our factories, and follow the path of least resistance downstreams. Water is a perfect conduit for that. And then down to our rivers and oceans. Along the way, they're ingested into the food web, concentrating as they make their way up the apex creatures. These chemicals are known to cause cancer, thyroid malfunction, learning disabilities, behavioral disabilities, spontaneous abortions in pregnant women, pregnant orcas in this case, and so on. Yet, we eat the same things, we drink from the same waters, and we're made up the same. We're both mammals.